أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
So he asked the Prophet ﷺ, what should we do? The Prophet ﷺ told him, go back and give da'wah to your people. Go to your qawm, those, and call them towards Allah. And he asked for a sign. And Rasulullah ﷺ made dua for him, and Allah gave him a light on his forehead, on his face. Imagine, like these are the Salaf al-Salihin, these are the Sahabah, Allah gave them such amazing things. And he didn't go back to his people and said, everybody, I am now a peer, everybody come, give me money. No, this is not the way the Salaf. Instead, his concern was the guidance of his people. He went back to his qawm, and before going, he told the Prophet ﷺ, if you can make dua and to change the light to my whip, not my face. Because I'm afraid those that want to cause fitna will say, oh, look, he's deformed. Even though it's like a bright, shining light. But people, sometimes you have a sajda mark and people want to, oh, look, he looks ugly, you know. So sajda from sujood, but people try to switch things up. So he asked that it be switched, and Allah made it. It was on his whip. And he went back to his people, and he went to his wife. He said, I have nothing to do with you, and you have nothing to do with me. She said, why? Don't say that. He was loved. He said, because I'm a Muslim, and you are shown shirk. Meaning he went straight away to give da'wah. Now everybody has to use the hikmah that's for their situation, right? You know, he knew that he could explain it with that kind of clear message, and his wife accepted Islam. He went to his father, same thing. His father accepted Islam, and he went to his people, and some of them accepted Islam, and many of them didn't. Many of them didn't. So what is the first lesson we can learn from this? Is he didn't stay around in Mecca and say, you know what, I'm going to hide my Islam because, you know, my peoples. And he didn't say, you know what, I'm going to sit around Mecca and see which one of the Sahaba made tawaf incorrectly so I can go make a rad on him. He didn't sit around and say, I've got this miracle, so now I can make my big name for myself. I can go back and be like, look, I've got light on my whip. You guys, me. No. Their da'wah was always towards Allah. Today, the people, they give da'wah towards themselves. Oh, this guy, he can fly. I just flew from America, so what? This guy, he does backflips. MashaAllah, man, must work out or something. This guy, he's from this and this family and that family. Abu Lahab was the uncle of the Prophet, so what? Where is he at? Right? No, your da'wah should be towards Allah. Allah does everything. Allah is the one that gives the guidance. Allah is the one that opens the way. Allah is the one that opens the hearts. Allah is the one that controls the mulukut of samawat wal ard. Allah is the one that has the treasures of the skies and the earth. Allah is the one that has khaza'in, treasures. Allah is the one that controls life and death. Allah is the one that controls. Our da'wah should be towards Allah, not ourselves. And our concern should be that everybody is safe from the fire. Tufail ibn Amr al-Dawsi didn't just go back and say, okay, how can I just really get a good traditional trading company going, and how can I build buildings? No, he went back with a concern how people can be safe from the hellfire. Now, he gave da'wah to his people, and many of them didn't listen. Some of them listened. And he came back to the Prophet ﷺ. When he came back to the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca, he brought just one person with him. Uthman ibn Farooq. How many of you know who's Uthman ibn Farooq? Not you. You can't raise your hand. Not you. You know him. Wallahi, all of you know him. Okay, you know him too. You gotta give it away, man. Uthman ibn Farooq, radiallahu anhu's kunya is Abu Hurairah. How many of you know Abu Hurairah? I told you, all of you know him. MashaAllah, the young man in the back knows him. MashaAllah. Young man here, you know Abu Hurairah? Yes, you heard it. Narrated by Abu Hurairah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said kada wa kada, right? Now imagine Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi, he brings one young man to the Prophet ﷺ. He tells him, my people are not listening, O Messenger of Allah, make dua that Allah destroys them. And this is a lesson for us in da'wah, watch. Make dua that Allah destroys the qawm of those. They don't listen. I gave them the message, khalas. Rasulullah ﷺ raised his hands. And Abu Hurairah narrates the hadith. He says, I was so afraid that if he made this dua, our people will be destroyed. And instead, Rasulullah ﷺ said, oh Allah, guide the qawm of those. He made dua for them, not against them. And Shaykh ibn once he was asked by a people to make dua against a certain people that had mistakes. And he wrote in his fatwa back, he said, look, I wish you would go with them and sit with them and learn from them how to make dua for the ummah, not against the ummah. And look at us today. It's at each other. It's not the way of the Salaf al-Salihin. Are we concerned about all these kuffar going to hell? Are we concerned about those people worshipping qubur and how we can get them to leave that which Allah and His Messenger have forbidden? Are we concerned that our non-Muslim classmates, teachers, students, co-workers, people you see in a shop, if you saw them and suddenly a fire broke out and they were on fire, you would do anything to protect them. A human being, child, lady. Even if you saw a little cat or a dog that was on fire, you would run. As a human being, you would run. To put that fire out, you couldn't see somebody like this. But what about people heading to a fire that's never ending? That is much worse than this dunya. This is the time to be firefighters, to go and stop that, to call people towards Tawheed, towards Al-Jannah, everlasting bliss. So Sahabah here, this was they were concerned. And when they made a mistake by saying something like, oh Allah, Rasulullah, make dua against my people, Rasulullah gave them tarbiyah. He taught them. He showed them, no, instead be worried about saving them. And he made dua for the people of those. Later, as we read in the seerah, in the times of Medina, they came. Tufail bin Amr al-Dawsi came with the whole qabila of those. And they were Muslims. Imagine if Rasulullah hadn't given that tarbiyah, he just made dua against them, khalas, they would have been finished. They would have been in hell. But instead, not just them, but generations and generations after them, they were people of Tawheed. This is the way of the Salaf. To want good for people, to want guidance for people, to be concerned for that guidance.
مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا.